Hello, this is Dawn. Welcome to Lighthouse Tapestry. And I'm going to cover some astrology for you from November 2nd through about the 11th, right? So we have a lot of things that are going on for us in the astrology right now. And I think it's been a mixed bag for people. They have people who have a strong water analogy. I have a strong water trine in my chart. And now I'm used to this, having this strong trine in my chart. But those that aren't used to it and it's hitting their planets in a different way, maybe a little bit overwhelmed by all of the emotional energy. And I will explain that a little bit more as we take a look at the actual charts for the week. But I do want to remind everybody that we will be doing on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern a Taurus full moon burn. So if there's all of this energy that you are trying to adjust to, this is a good time for you to, release and burn and get rid of some of the things that have been changing in your life that you are now on to new relationships, whatever Taurus and Scorpio, that axis, whatever that might mean for you. For me, it happens to be in my sixth house of daily habits and also in my 12th house of unconscious or being my hermit self, which is really funny because it's Taurus and Taurus kind of likes that. So I would say that we need to take a look at what healing is happening for us because I think a lot of the emotion that we're feeling is us being triggered by what's been going on in our past. And this is our opportunity to release that energy. So let me go ahead and share the chart so we can walk through it together. And I am pulling this up for November 2nd. So you can see this on the screen with me. And right now you see that we have Venus in Libra. We have Jupiter in Cancer in its exaltation. Libra is in her own home. And we also have Eris and Chiron in this area of the chart. Now, this would make a T-square. This is what that red line represents, right? Jupiter, Eris, Chiron, Venus. Those are in the cardinal signs. And this, I think, may be what is coming up as far as the past and healing. What is our Chiron wound, right? What does that mean for us? I have my Chiron actually in Pisces, but this is a collective wound. This is what's going on for everyone. And so I think if you have anything in those degrees in your chart and you have Chiron or Jupiter or Venus talking to them in a strong way. So I would say anything from 22 up through, I think we're going to feel this energy up through the time when Venus enters Scorpio. So I do think that the beginning of this week is actually very nice. I think it's going to be actually pretty nice up through the full moon. I think we are going to get the benefit of the grand water trine. Again, this is Jupiter. This is Mars. And we do have Saturn here and Neptune. So for me, what can you get behind emotionally that can be a long-term action for you to take? And what are those houses in your chart? If any of those are maybe your health houses, like is it the sixth house? Is it, I have in my chart, those are actually my money houses. So it's my second, my sixth, and my 10th. But is it something else for you in your chart? So take a look at that energy and what you have in those degrees as well for you, those later degrees. It's going to be beneficial for anybody that has water signs that have late degrees in the water signs, because that's all trine energy. That's working for your benefit. But Mars is involved in this. And I always say give Mars a job. Mars is going to be moving into Sagittarius, where it will be conjunct Mercury at 6 degrees of Sagittarius. This is important because Mercury had just gone retrograde at 6 degrees of Sagittarius. So what happens on the day that this actually conjuncts, which is actually on the 12th. So that'll be more labeled for next week, but we will feel the energy of this ahead of time. I think we'll start feeling it as soon as Mars moves into Sagittarius, and we do have Mercury there already. We are in the shadow of Mercury's retrograde right now. I am going to be very proactive about this particular aspect that's coming up because I have a ton of stuff at 6 degrees. And one of them is Mars in Gemini. So I will have a direct Mars opposition when Mercury is conjuncting um, the Mars in my seventh house of relationships. So I'm already going to say I apologize ahead of time to anybody that's in my friend group. Um, I don't know how this is going to play out. I'm going to do my best to exercise the astrology benefits of giving Mars a job. And so that means I'm going to take on being more physically active and being more, busy and, connecting with people and try and align that energy for myself. So if you have anything at 6 degrees of anything, take a look at how that is going to be talking to the Mars Mercury conjunction at 6 degrees in Sagittarius. So what is Sagittarius for you? Sagittarius, again, for me, is my seventh house. So take a look at what those degrees are in your own chart. Now, I'm going to just change this today. We're going to move into Monday and take a look at what Monday looks like. So this was Sunday. This is what's happening on that day. And we will now move. Okay, so it is the 3rd. So this is still this grand water trine. It's at 29 degrees. Now, Mars is now talking to Neptune. And the second that it goes into, oh, my guard dog here. The second that it goes into Sagittarius, it's going to be opposite Uranus, which is really interesting that it gets this punch because then Uranus is going to go into Taurus. And then we're going to have things in an opposition with Scorpio as the sun moves through. So this is that 29 degrees. And this happens on November 3rd. This is actually set for the morning. So probably by later in the afternoon, in the evening, this will have changed over. But this is that we should be feeling that tomorrow because it's at 29 degrees, the anuretic degree, and Uranus is at 0. No, I do have Uranus actually moving into, on the 7th. Uranus moves into Taurus on the 7th. So not too far in the future by the end of the week. So let's take a look. Again, we have Chiron still activated. So we do have this square still going on, but Venus is now at 2557, pretty strong still, right? Use that energy to help heal any of the past life traumas that you may have had. This is your chance to actually, because Aries is about self, what are the wounds that you can heal on your own? That it's about releasing the energy of, they did that to me. It's what is your job now? I totally believe that that person did something inappropriate and bad because it's a wound for you as a personal wound. But what is your reaction to it? You can move on from it. You don't have to have any more conversations with the person that's involved with. Also, this is about forgiving yourself. Forgiving yourself. So we all have things in our life that we regret, but we have to move forward from those as well. And I'm a different person than I was even 5 years ago. So I think that needs to be something that you address with yourself. This is a very personal time for you to look at your personal wounds. And if it involves someone else, realize that they're not going to change. If they haven't changed by now, with all this electric energy that we have going on in the astrology, I think that they're going to be stuck in that energy for a while yet. And you have to give up the idea of, I'm going to show that I was right. I'm going to prove to them that I was right. That doesn't matter. And doing that only holds you back. So really think about that as we're having these first couple days of this week. The energy is going to allow you to do some healing, which I think is really important because it starts to get a little bumpy as we get into next week, but we will feel that energy later on in this week. So here is, again, we still have that grand water trine going on, and you have Mars at 29 and you have Neptune at 29. Pretty strong energy. It is a trine. It will be beneficial. What can you get going and make happen that you've always dreamed of doing? Give the planets a job. And that's a very, very good one. I'm going to get my dreams going. I'm going to start moving forward. What can I do to do that? What steps, what actions do I need to take? That is what I'm going to be doing with Mars when it enters Sagittarius and I have a Mars opposition. So let's take a look at one more day forward. Now, this is the day that we're actually going to be having our, it's on Tuesday. This is when we're going to be having our full moon release, and that'll be at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So come to the channel, Tapestry, Lighthouse Tapestry. So this is Venus still being in Libra. And actually at the time, I'm going to change this by a couple hours. Actually, at the time of the full moon, it's kind of fascinating here. Okay. Forward. Venus is actually at one more day. Forward. Hours back. In the morning. Yep. So Venus is actually at 28 degrees. Venus is actually at 28 degrees when the full moon happens. So Venus being the ruler of this full moon, because Venus rules Taurus, what can we take a look as for energy? So you have, this is Aries, Pisces, Aquarius, this is Capricorn, Sagittarius. I'm just kind of, making sure that we're all in the same place. So take a look at the signs here, right? So this is the full moon. It is at 13 degrees. That's kind of cool. I almost got that exactly. It is at 13 degrees of Taurus. So what houses are Scorpio and Taurus for you? Venus rules this, and she's in her own sign. She's at 28 degrees. She is still in a trine energy to Jupiter. So you can feel that you can release some of this energy regarding what no longer is serving you. So I hope you take advantage of that, because I think it's going to be a really great opportunity for people to really clean up some of their own personal wounds and be able to release that and fill that up with love and, send them on their way with joy. I will say that coming up on the 6th, we have Mars in a sextile to Pluto. Fortunately, it's a sextile, but there may be something that comes up that can be transformational for you. And I would say set the intention, because Pluto is Darth Vader being your fairy godmother, and it's with Mars, and it's just like, well, I have a plan and I'm going to make this happen, whether you like it or not. That's very much that energy of the strong Mars energy, right? So that's sextile energy. That's an opportunity, and it's with Pluto. And normally I would say that you're going to be offered an opportunity. But I would also say that Pluto this is the small tower moment. This is the knock at the door that Pluto is starting. And later on in the astrology in the next coming months, if you haven't listened or paid attention to what Pluto's trying to say to you, this will become bigger and bigger tower moments for you until Pluto gets tired of you not listening and sweeps everything off the table and then breaks it into 1,000 pieces, and then throws dirt on top of it and says, okay, you clean this up and we'll talk later. So that is the energy that we also need to be aware that there are things coming up. And one of the things I know that I've been knowing that this is coming, and I want to give you that heads up with this energy. Uranus is going to be entering in, let me put this back today. Uranus is going to be entering Taurus. And the reason I am a little bit more concerned about that is because we have Neptune at 29 degrees of Pisces, a sign that it rules, and it's there to finish things up. So is Saturn. If you have Saturn and Pisces natally, you're finishing up your Saturn return. These are big moments. These are big things coming forward for you. So everybody is going to be getting this. Everyone. So here is Saturn and Neptune, finishing up those final things in that area of the chart, but also on a world level, because 29 degrees of Pisces is the very last degree of the zodiac. So we need to be aware of those energies of what's going on in the future. And also, it's kind of funny that we do also on this day have Venus at 29. So she is in a quincunx, which is itchy kind of energy. It's just like that, you're just not quite satisfied with something. Now that can be good if you're writing a book, or if you're setting yourself an intention to become a better writer, become a better athlete. Those are the kind of quincunxes are the things that maybe make you work a little bit harder. I do like that it's with Venus, and it is with Neptune. So maybe, what dream have you had that you haven't worked on? That's what I guess I would say. What dream have you had that you haven't put any work into? And maybe you need to start doing that, because you need to take advantage of this Saturn making your dreams come true in Pisces with Neptune there, co-ruler. We do have Uranus at 3 degrees. Oh, sorry, 0 degrees, 3 minutes that day. And it's funny that we also have the moon is just getting ready to leave Taurus. So let's go one more day. And now on November 8th, on Saturday, we do have Uranus entered into Taurus. Uranus in Taurus and Neptune in Pisces. Those last retrogrades, and I will include Saturn in that as well, because that's a 28 to 29 year cycle. These are the last time these planets are going to be in those degrees. One is for 165 years, one is for 85 years, actually 86 years. And then you have Saturn, the fastest moving of those three, at about the 29-year mark. So what does that mean here? It means that for the collective, things are going to look really crazy, because we are finishing up the old. And it's funny that money systems are going to be changing, financial, food, all of those things that have like that Taurus connotation. Earth changes. I would definitely say Earth changes, because it's Uranus. Unexpected things, obviously. So what can you do to ride out that energy? Fortunately for us, we have the grand water trine still working with our emotions if we take advantage of it. So as we had the other planets leaving Scorpio, because Mars is now in Sagittarius, but we have the sun coming up. The sun is going to be making that grand trine active again. It's at 16 degrees. It's a little far away from Saturn right now. So there is that. We do have right here. This is Circe. So we have a little while before we get the activation of that grand water trine again. So our feelings could be very unsure. We're not on steady ground. I feel like when the sun gets closer to that in the next couple weeks, that'll be better. But I feel like we need to really align and get our planets working for us, set intentions, release what is no longer serving you. And we do have a truly amazing Scorpio new moon at 28 degrees coming up in 2 weeks, which is great for setting intentions and um, looking at deep held beliefs and desires and what we want to accomplish. Will say as we move forward, we are going to be getting this energy of Mars is going to be in an opposition to Uranus for a few days. And I just want to backtrack just a hair. So really starting I would say even on the day of the full moon, by that evening, because the full moon happens in the morning in the United States, you'll feel this energy um, with this Uranus energy here and Mars here. Now, one of them is communication, unexpected communication. It's in an opposition to Mars. I am not expecting good news. And we may see that ahead of time before the 6th happens. So be aware of that coming up. And then it's going to, again, tough communications when it conjuncts Mercury. So I would say those are the things that we need to be aware of because this is November 6th. And as we move forward, 7th, 8th, which is Saturday, and Uranus is now in Taurus, but it's still close enough. It's still close enough to Mars for there to be some lingering things going on. And then you have Mercury, the ruler of Gemini. It's going to be in a conjunction. So I do think that we are going to have some additional communication things coming out that I don't think we're going to be happy about. Okay, so we do have, this is at 6:36, Mars is at 5:04. So this is starting into next week. I would say as we look at these things, start paying attention because we'll feel the energy of this ahead of time before this week is out. People are just not going to be happy in communication. So try as much as you can to duct tape yourself and count to 20. That's my plan, part of my plan. Especially, it's just like when Mars is retrograde, I'm like, okay, count to 100, then stop and count to 100 again. You really, really have to be careful about what you say and try and take a cooling off period before you say anything in anger. So that is what I would say for this week is that the first part of the week, I feel really good. Take advantage of getting your emotions in order, doing that purge and release that we're going to be doing with the full moon ceremony. And then see what it looks like for the end of the week is a little bit rougher. Take that attitude of standing back, take control of your Mars, make sure that you set goals for each of your planets so that they're not running amok in your calendar, especially Mars, especially Saturn. Uranus, there's nothing you can do to control Uranus, and Uranus is going to be having some opposition aspects to both Mercury and Mars. So lots of unexpected events coming up. Try and keep your emotions in a controllable fashion. And it's not like you can push it. I don't think it's a good idea to push them down, but just be careful where and how you express them, which means go out and exercise, walk, get rid of the energy that has brought anger, do a major house cleaning, do all of those things that are going to help you in your chart. So I will say that that is the basic things that I would advise people to do is really take a look at what's going on for you personally in your chart. The degrees either side of 25 degrees, the degrees right around 6 degrees, and see how they're talking to Sagittarius, 6 degrees of Sagittarius, where that conjunction of Mercury and Mars is going to be, and also the water trine energy to see if you can take advantage of any of those things around the 25 degrees in the water signs, and see if you maybe have something that's in a sextile, that there may be an opportunity that presents itself. A sextile is 60 degrees away, so there's like a sign in between that sign and the other sign. So it would be like Cancer, Leo, Virgo. Virgo and Cancer would be in a sextile, right? Because there's one sign in between them. You might have opportunities, and depending upon what signs they are and what houses they're in, that might be something that you can take advantage of. So please enjoy the week. I am looking forward to seeing you on Tuesday for our release, and Wednesday when we also will have a live, and we also draw cards for people in the audience. So come join us. We really appreciate you being a part of our community. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.